85% of all of our habits and attitudes are formed by what age?
5.
Anybody want a lifeline? 12. 12 years old. Okay? Now, I was corrected by an Asian lady a couple of years ago. She says, Roger, in our culture, it's 3. Is that right? Okay. Now, if you didn't think you want to jump off the bridge, now would be the time. Me is never going to change. Never going to change. So the point is, if 85% of all of our habits are formed by 3 or 12, whatever it may be, pretty much our life is dictated, right? And so, unfortunately, you run into a lot of sales trainers and managers, and when they sit down with you and they have their little performance review, one of the things they'll say is, didn't hit your numbers. Didn't hit your numbers. Why? What's wrong with you? You going to tell a person the truth? No, not in a million years. So I did something a long time ago. Now, this is not my assessment, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. This comes out of Gallup poll, because they got really, really deep pockets, and they can do this master research. And the interesting thing is this. I learned a long time ago, if you can get the best out of people, one of the things you ought to do is start looking towards their strengths. If you didn't hit your numbers, I don't care about that. What I want to do is I want to care about what your strengths are, and I'm going to discover your strengths through a process of assessment, psychological assessment, behavioral assessment, and then we're going to start focusing your energy on that. Because every time you say something like, I don't want to procrastinate anymore, what do you end up doing?
Procrastinate.
Why do you think things are going to be different? Right? So you say, I don't want to procrastinate. Roger says, I plan my work and I work my plan. I have a do-it-now attitude. I use my time to my best advantage. Like when people ask me, can I talk to you? I said, it's going to take more than 3 minutes. And they go, yeah, set an appointment. And you know, it works, doesn't it? Does it work, Della?
Yes, it does. For the most part.
So you know what happens? It becomes a behavioral issue more than anything else. And I always talk about how to manage time for results. How to manage time for results. But it first starts with the way we think about it. But let's be real for a moment and say, does some form of procrastination cost you at least 1 transaction a month? Of course. I'm not doing a root canal here, so smile. Because it's going to get worse. Okay, so we know it costing us at least 1 transaction a month, and the average commission, I don't know, you guys help me out.
10? Done? 8, 10?
10,000. I want to round it off to 10, 10, 12, 15. Let's pick 10 just for the sake of conversation, okay? And if you take that and you times it by 12 months, you have not brought into your pocket another $120,000. Oh, God, are you serious? Now, how many of you are brave souls? Who are the brave souls here?
I think I am.
How many of you are married here? Okay. So here, when I talk about a brave soul, I want you to go home tonight. Oh, by the way, one other thing to do. Take this 120 and times it by the number of years you've been in business.
Oh. Ouch.
I know, ouch, right? So for the brave souls, you go home tonight and say, honey, I need to sit down to you. We need to have a business meeting. I need to tell you something. I heard this guy speak today, and he told me I should do this exercise with you. I'm not bringing in $120,000 a year and times it by the number of years, and so I don't know, it'll probably cost us $1 million. Why do you get so quiet all of a sudden? Don't want to do that, right? Because you go home and you whine. You don't know how tough this business is. Look, this is the 4th real estate cycle that I've seen. The 4th one. Worst of time, best of time, everything in between. But you know what? The economy exists between your ears. Because this man always likes to say, regardless of what the market is, people are always going to buy and sell.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? But, God, isn't that a lot of money? Isn't that a lot of money?
Yeah.
Okay, what would you do if you had an extra $120,000?
Remodel my house.
You could go on vacation.
Yeah, you could do anything you wanted to do, right? Anything you wanted to do. But let's take that and tie it together with something that we know the lifeblood to what everybody in sales does is prospecting. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay? And you're not a master at it, are you?
No.
No. Why?
Still learning.
Still learning. What else?
Doing it wrong.
Yeah, maybe I'm not doing it right, right?
Don't do it.
You don't do it. You find busy work to do,
Yeah.
right? Well, I need to move these papers around on my desk, and oh, my coffee cup is dirty, I gotta do that. I'm sorry?
Facebook.
Facebook, I gotta do that. Okay? And so all of a sudden, we really become masters of not doing what the lifeblood is to what we do. So I have a question for you. And you should write this one down because it's very, very important. What is the purpose of prospecting? Anybody?
Meet people.
Meet people. What else?
Grow your pipeline.
Generate business.
Grow your pipeline. Kinda. You're close. Very close. What else?
Be in front of people.
Be in front of people.
Generate
Expand
business.
your market.
Expand your market.
People to know you.
Get people to know you.
Make a contact. Make a contact.
Yes. Here's the deal. The purpose of prospecting is to build your database.
Making contact.
Build your database. And you neglect it terribly. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you neglect it?
It's terrible.
Sometimes, first name was Ned?
Ned.
Ned. Ned says, I'm kind of new to the business. And when I get people who kind of say, I'm kind of new to the business, and they say, well, I don't have many customers or anything, but I know at least 100 people that you know. And he goes, what? How do you do that? Well, you've forgotten about telling people. Does everybody know 100 people? How many know 200 people? How many know 300 people? Why don't you tell them what you do? Right? Does anybody watch the Shark Tank?
Yeah.
Okay.
Love it.
Everybody that trains with me, it's voluntarily mandatory. As a homework assignment, they watch the Shark Tank. Why? Because you learn what not to do, and you also learn what to do. Are you going to play around with Mark Cuban? Right? They're going to cut you a deal. Take the deal. But you got boneheads up there that figure, oh, I can get more someplace else. Okay. So this is what I always like to share with people. Change your mind. Please write this down. Change your mind and succeed, or have your own way and fail. Right? Change your mind and succeed, or have your own way and fail. So now we know the purpose of prospecting is to do what?
Build your database.
Build your database. And you will have, rather than acting like all the other realtors that are chasing down business, business comes to you.
Yeah.
Is that right, Della?
Mhm.
Oh, isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? But if you don't have the database and you don't work your database, then you're always going to be at odds with yourself. And you'll always end up on the side of broke, busted, and disgusted. And you'll do this. I know what you want to say to me. Roger, I've been through so many training programs. Yes or yes?
Yeah.
Right? I've tried everything. No, you haven't. Because if you did, you'd be massively wealthy and successful. And I'll tell you something. I don't hold out much for most trainers out there. I really don't. You know why? Because they all use the word mindset, but what people say to me is, Roger, you're the only guy who trains on it. Huh. Isn't that amazing? And I know what you're going to think. It's tough to change. It's hard to change. Is that right? What do you think?
Yes. Yes.
Really? So do you understand this part? Whatever you resist will persist. Keep telling yourself something is tough, how's it going to be?
Tough.
Right. Well, years ago, when I was doing all the research work in the neurosciences, something came up called quantum physics, quantum mechanics. I was scared to death. Really? I'm not one of those brainiacs that gets this, you know. So, but I told myself, I'm going to get this material, I'm going to read it, and I'm going to understand it. And it's going to come to me easily, freely, and effortlessly. And guess what happens? Just that way. Because what you want to write down for yourself, whatever you expect to get, you're going to get. A positive thought is 2,000 times more powerful than a negative thought. Proved by science. This is how you see people heal themselves of terminal illnesses. You go, how did that happen? Because they shifted their mindset. When I say it's not rocket science, I really do mean it's not rocket science. It's pretty simple. But what we have to do is this. Earlier I said, you have to have an open mind and you have to have an open heart. The moment you do that, then all these expectations start to manifest in your life. But if we don't intend it to happen and we leave it to chance, then you'll operate out of negative habits. Happens automatically without even you thinking about it. So unless we reprogram the way that we think, we can't get the desired results. If I take this thing and I say, well, what do you think really the major element is for not prospecting? What would you tell me?
Fear.
Fear of?
Rejection.
Okay. Interesting one, isn't it?
Lazy.
Okay. Now, remember what I told you about this right here? Habits, attitudes, how many are formed? By, well, 3 or?
85%.
Yeah, 85%, right? Where did it come from? Where did it come from? Do we have an idea?
Your parents.
That's right. Mom and Dad said these words to you. Be seen and not heard. Don't go where you're not wanted. Only speak when you are spoken to, and don't you ever, ever, ever speak to
Strangers.
and you wonder why you're not enthused to tell people what you do. But I'll tell you what, let me tell you the downside of that. How many of you would agree with me that that rejection factor is costing you at least 1 transaction per month? Right, okay, here we go. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but I'm up to 240,000 so far. Wow, really? I know what you're going to say. Well, yeah, okay, Roger, I understand that. But I'm doing okay. Oh, really? How soon do you think before that just okay? And then it's not the comfort zone. It's not even. That phrase doesn't even fit. That's the broke, busted, and disgusted. That's amazing. 240 grand. Is that right? Think so? Yeah. Now, I know all of you are brave souls. You're going to go home tonight and have the meeting with your spouse and say, oh, by the way, this is what I've cost us. What do you think? What do you think? And as they reach for the firearm, it'd be a tough talk though, wouldn't it? It'd be a tough talk. But here's the good news. By show of hands, how many of you want to change it? How many of you want to change it? Your heart's in it. Because guess what? You don't go from doing 20 to 134,000, just overnight, do you? But let me ask you this one question. Please write this down for yourself, because it's a good question. Do you know where you want to be in a year from now?
Yes.
Because if you don't, you're already there. And here's the thing. You're outgoing people. You love people. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you love people. You love to engage with people. You love to talk. But you don't tell people what you do. So you're all like secret agents. You're all secret agents. I was doing this with another group I was working with, and we were talking about this idea of, because most people will talk to you about, every trainer I hear, it's the same nonsense, same sales managers talk about the same nonsense. Contacts, contact, go out there and knock doors, send out brochures, flyers, all this other nonsense. No. Okay? Now, I kind of work a little bit smarter than that. And here's what I'd like to suggest that you do. You know all those people that have bought properties through you, buyers, sellers, influencers? You don't stay in contact with them. There's a difference between contacts and connecting. Big difference. When you connect with people, you now have them sending you business. And I know you don't want to feel like you're the pushy salesperson or something, is that right? Okay. Well, you know what? You should make that decision for them. When you have something of value to offer people, they want to hear. And don't these people, that what I call the AAA people, know you, like you, and love you? You know, like when you sold their home for them, or you've helped them into a home, don't they give you all these accolades? Thank you so much. You've done such a great job for us. We're going to refer you to everybody. And you get so excited. And then you go back and you tell some of your coworkers, you bring it up at an office meeting. But you know what happens? They don't send you anybody. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Yeah, they don't send you anybody. And you go, how could they tell me that they loved what I did for them? I did all this stuff and they're not sending me anybody. Well, because you fell out of connecting with them. And I'm telling you, I can promise you this. The more you connect with them and stay in touch with them, the more business they will send you. That's what I teach people how to do. Who's up to that idea? Anybody? Yeah. Because I'm telling you what. How many of you agree this is not acceptable? That's non-acceptable. So the thing to know is that you can change. But let's explore quickly what your number one was on your list. Somebody tell me what your number one was. We'll play with it. Lupita, we're going to do it with you.
Number one is managing time for results.
Manage time for results. So you got to understand something. Procrastination is nothing more than a habit. Nothing more than a habit. Till that habit changes, time will always run you. Always run you. But guess what? You only have 24 hours in a day. How come Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Mother Teresa, the Pope, who we saw before Congress this morning, was that a first or not? And of course I was very excited. How many Catholics are any Catholics here? Yeah, me too. And I was super excited when he became Pope because, I was trained by Jesuits. So if you're wondering what's wrong with me, now you know. But some of the most brilliant guys I've ever met in my life. And of course when he became Pope, it was like this is the first Jesuit Pope we've ever had. And he took the name Francis because you all know the story. Pretty fascinating individual, right? Doesn't stay in the papal apartment, doesn't ride around in the car, doesn't wear Prada shoes. Pretty cool, right? So when we think about managing time, here, this would turn it around. If I say, Lupita, that we know procrastination is costing you like $120,000 a year, you'd go, okay, it's worth changing the way that I look at things, right? And that's pretty amazing, isn't it? Because even everybody that's trained with me 3, 4, 5 years, that are still continue to train with me, it always comes back to the way we manage time. And you got to understand, time is a living document. If you don't take control of it, it will run you to ruin. You think I was kidding when somebody comes up to me and says, can I talk to you for a minute? I could take more than 3 minutes? Yep, good, let's set an appointment. Sound familiar, Valerie? Yes. And you know what? People will respect that. I remember Della telling me this story because her area is so large, she was running from this side to the east side, this side to the east side. She was running herself ragged. And so she said, time's getting away from me. I said, well, here's an idea. Those people that want you to come over and see them right now, tell them, I'm in your area on Tuesdays and Thursdays. What day is convenient and what time is convenient for you? And then they tell her and she goes, oh. And because the people who train with me have unfettered access to me, she'd call me and tell me, wow, it worked! Well, how amazing is that? You'd like to put another $120,000 back in your pocket?
Yes.
No, with some enthusiasm, please. You're killing me here. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. And did everybody check that one off, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah, sure you did. So there's more money to be put back in your pocket, but you have to shift the way that you think. I'm going to share with you how you do that, by the way. Okay? Second, somebody give me your number 2.
Consistency in production.
Consistency in production. Wow. most people have the biggest inconsistency in production. Why is that? Well, you know how most people kind of see it like this, right? This undulating scale thing. Up and down, up and down, up and down, you know. You sell the house and you go, wow, I just love this job. I want to make a fortune at it. In fact, it's been such a pain in the ass deal, I need a couple of 3, 4, 5 days off. And then those days become what?
Months.
Yeah, thank you. Somebody was bold enough to say it. And not till the urgency arises again do you take any action. And then you're another 60 days behind because it's not the $1 million listing that you watch on TV. $5 million, 10-day close, no contingencies, we're done. Oh gosh, everybody watched that program and says, I want to get into real estate. Is that the real world? Not that I know of. And I know some very, very, very top producers. That's not the way they do it. So what we want to do is take a look at, when we want to have consistency in what we do, it becomes this way. I can talk to you all day about money. It's cold and impersonal. Let me ask you this. What lifestyle do you want? What lifestyle do you want? See, the lifestyle is something tangible, isn't it? You can get excited about that. If I ask you, where have you wanted to go on vacation, you haven't gone yet, you tell me a place. Where is it? Europe. And you haven't gone because? Don't have the time or the money. For most people, that is the 23rd Psalm of their life. What they don't have. The moment you start thinking about what you do want to have, you start creating it. And it can happen no other way. Can happen no other way. You have a history of it not working for you, don't you? Okay? Yeah, I know, kind of amazing, isn't it? So what we do is when we want to create consistency, do you think, how does someone like Loopy go from 7 deals a month to 32?
By listening to you,
Yeah.
your guidance, reinforcing what she already knows.
Change my
Yeah,
habits.
you know, the part of this is the moment you shift your mindset, the
Yes.
world
Change my habits.
changes for you.
Change.
Yes.
But there's an element here about why we don't change. Why don't we change?
Comfortable, comfort.
Okay, okay, what else?
We don't have this.
Now, this is
doing good work.
interesting, because when I asked this, I asked the same question to Loopy when she heard my presentation. And she said, well, you know, Roger, I was doing, 1 or 2 deals a month. These are her words. I was putting food on the table. That was it. That's called survival. All of us sitting here today, or me standing, we have one of 2 choices. We either survive or we thrive. Choose wisely. And that's what I want. If you want to thrive at what you do, then you start looking about what do I want to reward myself with. And don't sit there and tell me you got everything that you want. If you do, you're dead and you don't know it. Or Carolyn would say, you don't know where to shop. All right? So if you're looking for fame, fortune, and immortality, this is where it starts, right here today for yourself. The lifestyle that you want to create, not making excuses for it, but having the things that you want. So we don't change because why again?
We don't have discipline.
Yeah, we might lack the discipline, right?
You gotta make it.
That's where I come in.
I'm lazy.
I'm sorry?
Discipline is
Oh my gosh!
strength.
Did you hear what she said?
Lazy.
She says, I'm lazy. And you know what? Well, I want to tell you something.
I'm tired of working.
How many of you might agree with the fact she says I'm lazy? Anybody? Okay. I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
I need to get unlazy.
What I do believe is people lack focus.
Yes.
Because the moment you have focus,
Yeah.
your energy now goes into what you want to do. Okay? And this isn't, some of you have read this. I wrote this book, Dream Big. I wrote this. And it's an interesting thing because it's all about passion, purpose, prosperity, and power. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you are not totally in love with what you do, go do something else.
Yep.
You have to be totally in love with what you do. I hate to keep bringing up Loopy, but she said she's only been in real estate since 2002, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. And she says, I loved the IT business, but my passion was real estate.
Big difference.
Big difference. Big difference. So if you're not, if you're passionate about something, you don't complain about it, do you? You won't complain about it. So everybody says, with everything you were doing, Roger, how did you manage to write a book? There's only 24 hours in a day. How were you doing this? Well, fortunately I had this support team over here that bring me my dinner on TV trays in my office and wake me up in the middle of the night because I've fallen asleep writing. But here's the thing. The passion is what drives people. And you always know who the people are, what they're passionate about. Because they have this, what Napoleon Hill talked about, the single-mindedness of purpose. They're driven by their passion. It's an interesting thing. So why we don't change a lot of times is not because we're lazy, it's really because we're lacking the focus. You put things in focus, you fall in love again with what you do, because everybody's always asked me, Roger, when are you going to retire? I said, probably the day they plant me. I said, I have more books in me to write. Why do I want to do that? Listen, you want to hear a sad statistic? When people retire, within 22 months after they retire, they die.
Oh, they get very sick, yeah.
See? They die. Why does that happen? Lack purpose. They lack purpose. And they're not passionate about what they're doing. Fall in love with what you do. Give yourself an opportunity to see what you can really do. What you can really do. And have some fun at it. Because if it ain't, look, I'm a child of the 60s, granted. Everybody says, oh, you're looking through, and Heidi's laughing and smiling. Says you're looking through life through rose-colored glasses, and I go, oh, hell yes. Why would I not want to do that? For us born in those days, we had a saying. If it ain't fun, don't do it. And if it's fun, do a lot of it. That's the way it worked out. And you know what? It should be fun every day. Now, you can come up with all the reasons why it shouldn't be fun, but do you really want to keep living that way? No. A shift in the mindset changes. So we know that, yes, sometimes we say we're lazy. We come up with all sorts of things. But let me give you at the level of cause, let me give you the 2 reasons why people don't change. So you can write this down. 2 reasons why people don't change. 1 is they emotionally believe that they can't. What's the key word there? Yeah, absolutely. So underline that, put it in quotes. Emotionally believe that they can't. Second reason is, this is going to be a shocker, they are afraid to make a choice on their future. They're afraid to make a choice on their future.
I'm sorry, what is not, I am afraid to make a choice in my present?
On your present?
Yeah, I mean, in my present.
Your future is your present. Most people want to try to separate that. But you can't. What's happening right now is your future. Then just that second it became present, it's your future, present, and future. Listen, most people, how many of you will agree with me? For most people, when they wake up, it's like Groundhog Day. Groundhog
Part of
Day.
it.
Yeah,
Part
you'll
of it.
wake up and
Wake up.
right?
Wake up and goes nothing. Gets
Same old, right? But what happens when you have real purpose and you have real passion? You're looking forward to the day, what you're going to bring to the day, the opportunity that you have to make our world a better place because you're here. What about that? look, all of our lives, this is gonna be another one of these shocking things, okay? All of our lives have turned out exactly the way we wanted them to turn out. Now you're gonna shake your head and you're gonna tell me, no, I didn't want this to happen, really? Okay, then you're gonna argue with the finest and most intellectual beings on the planet. If it was supposed to be another way, it'd have been another way. We put all these things in our head. What I want to share with you is kind of bring it to an end here. Well, you know what, just for the fun of it, is there another area that anybody put down there besides 3? Did anybody pick out another area?
I said keeping yourself motivated.
Oh, good one. Keeping yourself motivated. Keeping yourself motivated. How do you do it?
Making a choice of what you want.
Say again?
Making a choice of what you want.
Making a choice of what you want.
Waking up every morning to say this is a new day.
Good. What else?
Start fresh.
What I do in the mornings is I say this is a new beginning. I'm gonna start fresh from zero, and a new beginning.
Okay.
Have your task list, your amazing money-making activities.
See what you look. How many of you read Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich? You read it more than one time? When's the last time you read it? Long time ago. I probably have close to 2,000 books on my own personal library at home. I should finish coloring the last 2 this coming weekend. But I always read. I read and I read and I read and I read. And there's a number of books I reread each year at least 2 to 3 times. Why?
Because you learn something new each time and just
Because
refresh.
I know something about Roger. If I don't remind myself of what I already know, I will forget it.
Repetition.
So if you don't keep it right in front of you, you'll forget it. What Napoleon Hill talked about is always writing down the 6 or more things you're supposed to do the next day, the night before. Intellectually, it appeases all of us. It was a great idea. And you don't do it. So you wake up fundamentally with no plan. So if you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. I know, it's harsh, but that's the reality of it. Do you think Della doesn't have a plan in the morning? Huh? Because, you know, I'm the accountability guy. You played this game with other people. You know, this accountability thing has some merit. Let's be accountability partners. Tomorrow morning, we'll meet together, or we'll get on the phone, we'll talk at 8 o'clock. That sound good?
Sure.
Sure, sounds great. 7:55. Oh, geez, I can't make it, you know. Whatever, and you fill in the blanks. And you know what? Your friend isn't going to tell you the truth. Because they don't want to sacrifice the friendship. So if you say you're going to do something, and you say, why didn't you do that? I go, well, how come? You see, your friend won't do that. But that's where I kind of come in kind of handy. See, when you give me your word, I'm going to take it you gave me your word. However, if you break your word, I'll remind you. And I do it in such a way because guess what? The only thing I want to see you do is have massive success. I want all the things that you want in your life to manifest and come into reality. That's all. Wouldn't it be nice to have a raving fan in your corner for a change? Right? Pretty good idea, huh? So we think about that. And so give me one other area. We talked about the motivation, right? How do we keep ourselves motivated? Anybody else have any clues about that one?
You have to have an incredible support system.
Yeah, you got to have a good support system, which means this. Look, this is an amazing thing, and thanks for saying that. I'll give you the money later. Oh, she has the money. What was I thinking? So when I wrote this book, and I did the manuscript, it was kind of interesting. I went around to about a dozen people that really didn't know me. And I said, hey, I'm going to write this book. And so they went, oh, you're not a writer. You're not an author. Think anybody's going to buy it? Is it going to kind of be one of those motivational books or something? Don't you think the marketplace is kind of inundated with that stuff? That's the types of remarks I was getting. Then I went to my inner circle of people, and I said, I'm going to write a book. And almost unanimously, in concert, they all say, what can we do to help? It was said by Zig, who I had the opportunity of training with for 18 months. Some of you know that he crossed over November 28, 2013. He was my very first trainer. And he taught me a lot of things. And one of the things that he taught me was this: you are the sum total of the 5 people you hang around with the most. That becomes scary. Because all of a sudden you're asking yourself, are these people discouragers or encouragers? Are they doing what if or hell yeah? Because anybody that comes to me and they say, hey, I've got this idea about doing this, and they tell me about it, and they go, what do you think? Oh, hell yeah, let's do it. Wouldn't it be nice to live life at that level rather than, oh geez, yeah, things were different for me, and then. You know, they always go, gosh, it's a lotto effect. Yeah, when I win the lotto, do you know, I don't know if you've done any research on this, but I have, because it's part of what I do. I'm a mad researcher. 98% of the lotto winners are broke, bankrupt. Now, do you think they said the same thing? When I get this money, I'm set for life. No. Because they never learned how to say the word no. Just like you haven't learned how to say the word no to the people who come and steal your time. Because you want to be liked. So here's what I tell you. If they're writing you a check each month, listen to what they have to say. If they're not, I suggest you get on with your day. What do you think? Make good sense? Everybody laughs when I say this, when they say, can I talk to you? Gonna be more than 3 minutes?
What do I tell my kids?
Same thing.
Well,
you know what? I'm gonna tell you what. It's very interesting because unless you take an active, I don't want to get on this soapbox, man. Unless you get very involved with your children, if you're leaving up to the school system, that's not a good thing. You know, we're graduating kids that are functional illiterates. How does that happen? They're pushing them through the system. You know, I'll give you an example. You want your kid to be smart? I'll tell you what my mother used to do with me. Remember when TVs, when you had to pull them on and push them off and go change the channel? That's how far I'm going back. So one time I turned on the TV and it didn't come on. So I went to my mother and said, Mom, the TV's not coming on. You need to call the repairman. She goes, no, TV is working fine. No, I said, no, I just pulled it on. It won't come on. She goes, no, I unplugged it. I said, I'm going to go plug it back in. Now, when you have an Italian mother, you always take a step and a half back so you're out of range. Because you will catch a fresh one. And she goes, no, TV's off for the week. Why? Because I said so. I'm the mom. You guys know this one. I'm the mom. That's why I said so. Right? So she goes, read a book. But she was smart enough to say, read a book, and she incentivized it by saying, read a book, give me a 100-word book report, and I'll pay you $5. I'm 9 years old. $5? Wow. And it kept going that way and going that way and going that way, so I became this reader. By the time I read all the books in the house, some of you remember this, you know, Encyclopedia Britannica. Right? And she goes, go pick up one of those and pick a subject. And I said, well, how about $10? She says, how about 250 words? Okay. By high school, it was $20, but it was 500 words. And you see how you groom people? How you groom people? I had a gentleman come to me a number of years ago, and he said he was having, since you brought this up, Ned, about children and, you know, how can I get them to be more cooperative and all these different things. He said, do you have a book at home I could read? I go, yeah. I brought it in and I put it on his desk the next day. And he comes to me and goes, Roger. He said, is this the book that you want me to read? I said, yeah. He goes, this book is titled How to Train Your Rottweiler. I said, do you think there's a big difference in training a child and training a dog? Do you really think there's a big difference? There is none whatsoever. And the truth is, if you don't take an active role in rearing your children and you're leaving it to the school system, you're going to be in for a surprise. Take an active role. It's not the amount of time, it's the quality of it. The quality of it. Very, very important. Okay, so let me tell you how the system works here and how you shift this whole mindset. Some years ago, back in the early 80s, I was very, very taken by why the Russian athletes were winning 3-1 in terms of gold medals. I'm not talking about the East German women's swim team that had full beards. Okay? We know they were kind of on the juice. But what the Russians were doing was breakthrough science. And I don't know if you do any of this, but they're about 20 years ahead of the people on the planet in the mind sciences. Pretty amazing. What they were doing is training their athletes at the mental level. Okay? So what occurred was I got into a research team that got to look at what they were doing. And what we found out was they were using a form of classical music. Now it's Don mentioned the word largo. I know you don't know what that means. In musical terminology, it only means the word slow. But further research into this and then tweaking it, we found out something from the mind sciences that's very, very mind-blowing. At exactly 60 beats per minute, your subconscious mind opens up. And through the use of affirmations, if you will, right thinking, all of a sudden, new neural connections are made and you begin to form a new habit. And then, through the process of repetition, the habit seats itself and all of a sudden, you have a new behavior. All the effort and struggle is removed because you're dealing with the 90% of your total mind power versus the 10% which we're only using 3 to 6%. How cool is that? Right? So all of a sudden now, you don't think about wasting your time or procrastinating. All of a sudden the things I was saying to you about I plan my work and I work my plan and I have a do it now attitude and I give my time to people because I have it to give, you don't think twice about it. It's just like breathing. You don't think about not prospecting anymore or following up and creating the database. You know, I was mentioning Lupe earlier when you had her go through her database and she had 350. I said, we need 500 by the end of the year. And she just put another 90 in the last 2 weeks. So do you want to go chasing business or do you want business to come to you? Tell me what you want. Are you sure?
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely sure.
Yes.
Put your hand over your heart and tell me that. I'm sure.
I'm sure.
I don't know yet. I don't know yet. Let me give you an idea. Stand up, everybody. Stand up, everybody. Okay. Stand up. Take a look under your seat.
I don't see anything there.
Yeah, look, there is.
There you go, $1.
What'd you find? Found $1? You did?
This is mine.
Yes.
Oh.
I got a 20.
I got 100.
Oh, yeah, that one's your
I was trying to.
That's right, I was looking under my chair.
So how many of you agree with me that in order to make a buck, you got to get off your ass?
I love it.
So keep the buck. But I sit back down, everybody, because I do this to make a point. The point made?
Turn it in?
No, keep it.
Okay. Put it on my wall.
So you made a buck today.
Put it on my wall,
Yeah, put it on your wall.
in my office.
But that's what I'm talking about. Until you get off your rear end, you ain't gonna make a buck.
I like that.
And business needs to be fun again. Is that right?
Yes.
Be really fun again. And I can tell you this. If you're looking to have this life of fame, fortune, and immortality, you have children, don't you? How many have children here? Yeah. I'm her child. If I turned out okay, blame her. Think about this for a second. If you have children, don't you want to leave them a legacy?
Yes.
They're watching you 24/7. They don't listen to what you say. They watch what you do. You know, we all grew up with this with our own folks. We ask, well, Mom or Dad, and they go, don't do as I do, do as I
Say.
Oh, that's a conflicting message. And you wonder why kids are messed up. You have to be the example. Leadership, whether you're leading a company, a corporation, a family, is by example. It's not a title. When people tell me they're the president of this or the VP of that or whatever, okay, good for you. You know, if I put anything on my business card, it would be human being. Right? Leadership is not title and position. It is example and action. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Yes.
And if you want to be a better leader for your children, then be the example for them.
Yes.
Every day, not just when it's convenient or you're in the mood. That's not the way that it works. Okay? So, what we're looking at here is, 240 grand? Is that the number we had?
Yeah.
Some of you more, huh?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Loudly.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And we all understand in order to make a buck, you got to get off your...
But.
Thank you. They've been paying attention. Ed. How about that? Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm putting on a training program here that's going to start, as you see on your sheet here, that's going to start on October the 8th. And what we do is we meet 5 times for 2.5 hours each time that we meet. Okay? This is the standard training program, because a lot of people always say, well, I want to get into the level 2 training. I said, not unless you've done the standard training. It won't make any sense to you. So what we're going to do is the standard training is being offered here to you, for you today. 5 times, you get a workbook, you get a complete set of the learning system to change the behavior, and you get me. I don't send somebody out here to do it other than me. I do it. Okay? So let me ask you this question. Based upon what we've talked about so far, and the money not coming into your pocket, that should be, right? How many of you feel you gain at least one area, if not everything that we've talked about? Raise your hand.
Sorry, could you ask the question again?
Yeah. How many of you think you can benefit from one or more of the things that I talked
Benefit.
about? Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Everybody should be raising their hand.
Yeah. So in order to do that, you got to get involved, right?
Yes.
You can't sit here and say, I agree with him, because I'm going to be very bold with you for a moment. I don't need your agreement. You've spoken in front of 1 million people around the world. I don't look for people's agreement. What I look for is an open mind and an open heart on what they want to bring into their life. Because one thing is for certain. If we don't make a commitment to the things that we want in our life, then they literally escape us. If we say, well, I'm going to do that next year. You know, again, that's most people's song of their life. They're going to do it sometime down in the future, and you know how that works. Doesn't happen, does it? Doesn't happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm offering the program today on the dates that you see there. There obviously is tuition involved. Now, let me address the tuition. Normally the tuition for the program is $16.95. Okay? I know it sounds like a lot of money to you, but I think if you're looking at $240,000 of unrealized income, it's a very, very small amount. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Yeah, no big deal, right? But the good news is you can see that that has a line through it. And because Don has been very kind to let us use the space here, we have reduced the tuition for you folks down to $13.95. Give him a big hand. Okay? And so, with that being said, do you want to pull back this amount of money into your life? Want to put another, tell me?
Yes.
Yeah, make sense? Okay. So let me also tell you this, because I know you're taking a look at what the tuition is for the program. But I'm going to tell you this. Years ago, a very wise man shared with me, and he was Zig Ziglar, said to me the following statement, and I've embraced it forever and always. The greater the value of a problem, the more economical the solution. Means this. If you got a $240,000 a year problem, is a $13.95 solution reasonable?
Yeah.
Kinda, isn't it? Right? And so I've taken that and applied it so that people can make these things. And listen, there's a lot of people here that have been in the training with me. You know, Della's in the level 2 training with me. I know I mentioned Lupe. Some of you know her, some of you don't know her.
I was number 1. Why not?
I'm sorry?
I said I also took your training.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah. So the thing is like, now it's commitment time, and you gotta be all in or you're all out. You can't do one or the other, right? But I can promise you this. I will deliver to you everything and more of what I am stating to you. That's my promise to you. So, how many of you would like to do the training? Who do we have? We have Lupita, Greg, too. Yin?
I actually have to talk to my husband about it.
Oh, okay.
And the good thing is it's a tax deduction as well, so.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
It's an educational thing, so
but more than that is what you get out of it, really, what you
Well,
get out of it.
I mean, there's this thing now, listen, you may have been through a lot of programs, but I guarantee you haven't been through as many as I've been through. And the reason that I'm always attending programs, and the reason I search them out on purpose, is because I want to keep a fine razor edge to what I do. Because I know what happens. It's all part of who we are. If we don't do it, right, then nothing happens. We just get more of the same, more of the same, more of the same. And I don't want to belabor the broke, busted, and disgusted thing, but we can't even use, I'm doing okay. Because 2 years ago, I had a gentleman that said, in the middle of my presentation, he goes, Roger, he goes, this all makes sense to me, but you know what, I'm doing pretty well. I go, what does that mean? What does pretty well mean? He said, well, I'm doing about 300 grand a year. And I go, well, good for you. And I said, may I ask you a question? And he goes, certainly. I said, tell me you shouldn't be making $1 million a year. And he went, I can't do that. And I'm proud to tell you that he's making well over $1 million a year, and he's in the loan business. 2 years' time. That's how fast things can turn around for you when you engage. If you don't engage, you know what happens too. It's like Mark Twain was famous for this quote. You can be on the right track, and you've said that 1,000 times in your life, but if you ain't moving, you're going to get run over. I look at it this way. If we're not moving forward, we're stationary. If we're stationary, we're going backwards. Make sense to you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you can do a credit card. For those of you who are here with and work with Don, we made a special arrangement. And he'll tell you that after we adjourn here. But for those of you who are not aligned there and would love to do the program, then I'd love to see you here. Because I can tell you this, everything that I talk about, nothing can be better when you've got people sitting in the room giving testimony to it. And I would implore you to do one thing for yourself. I implore you to do it. And think about it this way, because I'm always thinking down the road. Some of you coming from the IT industry understand the bell curve, right? Right in the center there, Dad, that's where most people are, right? I'm this guy over here that's referred to as the early adopter, which means this. October 1st is what? Fourth quarter. What else is it?
Trid.
No, Tracy's the third.
That's a third.
October 3rd.
It's a fourth, yeah.
Starting of the next year.
All right, well, I was close.
Fourth quarter, right? Fourth quarter.
That's all I
Okay?
have. Yes.
So you
Last
better
quarter.
finish strong.
Yes, I have to.
But what I do with everybody that trains with me, this is when we start planning for 2016.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm going to tell you something. Right after 11:15 comes, everybody starts a big wind down.
Yeah.
Not the people that train with me, they wind up. Because we know something. What we know is that most companies will not even have a sales meeting till their third week in January. Because they got the Christmas hangover.
No.
They spent too much money, now what? So you have an opportunity to redeem yourself right now. There's a redemption time available. That you take action now, and then you look forward to 2016, and I can tell you, whatever number you come up for 2016, you know what I will do with you? What do you think is going to happen?
Split it? Oh.
One, I'm going to double the number. And you're going to be scared to death. Is that right, Della?
Yep.
Scared to death. but scared in the right way that you take action and you have fun with it and you're enthusiastic about waking up every day with some passion and some drive and some desire. Now I know sometimes people say, gosh, you really come across as a motivational speaker. Okay, guilty. I'm guilty. This is the way I live my life. This is the way I live my life. I don't know how to do it any other way. Well, I do actually. But it didn't work. And I wasn't happy with the results. And every day, at the end of the day, we always have to ask ourselves, did I do everything I could today? Is it all done? Because if you want to have more money, because you know what money allows us to do, anybody? Allows us to have the lifestyle that we want. But here's the biggest thing. You've worried about money all your life. Aren't you sick and tired of worrying about scarcity and not having enough of?
Yes.
Okay, it's dependent upon you then. No one else. I don't care what company you're working for, your sales manager, who's sitting in the White House, has nothing to do with anything. Why do you think I tell everybody watch the Shark Tank? You know who's my favorite? Mark Cuban. Love the guy. Why? Well, I identify with rebels. Right? And you know what? He says, he's got this great quote. He says, I work on myself harder than I do my companies because when I get better, my companies get better. Followed by this, I'm always selling. Always. And you go too many places and don't tell people what you do. Is that right?
That's true.
We go out all the time and we eat. Carolyn always makes friends with the waiter, introduces, shakes hands. This is my husband Roger. Calls the manager over. We had great service. You're doing a great job training them. By the way, if you're ever looking to buy or sell real estate, here's my card, and here's one for the server. And then they go into the database. How many times have you not done that? Thousands of times, and you don't have a database, so you have no customers. And so you figured, wow, we're really connected with them. They're going to think of me next time. Yeah, when you walked out the door. And then when they went home and they emptied out all of their pockets and they counted their tip money, they saw your card and they go. But once they get into the database and you're connecting with them on a consistent, repetitive basis, your face stays right in front of them. Not a cool idea, huh? Also, for those of you who don't have my book, should you register today, you get a free copy of my book. I'll even sign it for you, because it will break my heart. Okay. So how many of you here would love to do it? Who do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4 year ends. Have to get back. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, repeat it? Okay, great. Okay, good. So this is what I need for everyone. Keep your dollar. This is not mine. You stood up. You got off your rear end. I'm being nice. So what I need you to do down here is fill out this information at the bottom. If you want to use a credit card, that's fine. If you want to use a check, that's okay. If you're going to use cash, I need 2 IDs.
I didn't think about that one.
And to show you the importance of all this. Thank you. Always like to leave people with a takeaway.
I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
Oh, sure.
And so,
Oh, but not downtown.
No, look.
yeah.
Aren't you on the one with your
I am, but I'm on the one Meridian in Hamilton.
So don't tear off the bottom.
She's at the main office, right?
Don't tear off the bottom of your registration sheet.
Yeah, 'cause there's
I will hand you another one so you have all the dates for it, okay? So let's take a moment to review this here. It says, I am a habit.
I am a habit.
I am a habit. So let me read this with you and follow along. H-A-B-I-T. When 95% of people hear this word, a negative thought pops in their minds. Your entire future lies in your daily habits, positive or negative. You have the most powerful force right now in your hand, the ability to choose what your habits will begin to be. The secret to your future success lies in your daily habits. I am your constant companion. I am your greatest helper or your heaviest burden. I will push you onward or drag you down to failure. I am completely at your command. Half the things you do, you might as well turn them over to me, and I will be able to do them quickly and correctly. I am easily managed. You must merely be firm with me. Show me exactly how you want something done, and after a few lessons, I will do it automatically. I am the servant of all great men and women, and alas, of all failures as well. Those who are great, I have made great. I have made failures. I am not a machine, though it's of all mankind. You may run me for profit or run me for ruin. It makes no difference to me. Take me, train me, be firm with me, and I will put the world at your feet. Be easy with me, and I will destroy you. Who am I?
I'm your habits.
I am your habits. And over on the right-hand side, our good friend Aristotle. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, it is a habit. So, give yourself a big hand, everybody. Give Roger a big hand. And we can do photos and all that kind of good stuff because we got...
Hell yeah!
Woo!